Okay, how many of you have heard the story about the teacher who has the jar and they fill it with rocks and they ask the class, is the jar full or not? Even if you all put up your hand, I'm still going to tell you the story, so it's not going to matter. So how many of you heard it before? Okay, so about 40%. Okay, so the other 60%. So, Tim, next slide. So a teacher holds up a jar full of golf balls and asks the class, is it full? And the answer is, well, yeah. You can't get any more golf balls in there, so the jar is full. And then the teacher says, well, not necessarily. So then the teacher pours in some pebbles. And so the teacher then says to the class, is the jar full? And the class is somewhat wary, yes. And then the teacher pours in some sand. And then the teacher says to the class, is the jar full? And the class now says, absolutely, unequivocally, there is nothing else you can get in the jar. And so the teacher then pours in some milk. And now the jar is full. So I was actually doing this at home, and I did it on my wife's iPhone. And I was showing my son what I'd done on the iPhone. And apparently, after 3 years of broadcasting, it wasn't good enough. So my son and I actually shot this. That in itself was quite surprising, but when I did this, what really stood out for me, next slide, was that when you put it in reverse order, not all of your priorities make it into the job. And so, from my perspective, the fact that 6 golf balls didn't make it back in to the jar, having done that, was pretty profound. I thought for sure we would have got more in there. And so that represents your organization. If you have level 5s, level 4s, level 3s off spending money on what they believe are their priorities, and let there be no doubt in your mind, those pebbles, in some aspects of your organization, look like boulders. And so when they're spending on the grains of sand, the milk, and the pebble, and it comes time at the end of the year, you might have your priorities on the outside looking in.